What's up, guys? This is Clint with CB Yodas. Today we are going to be putting front brakes on our 77 Toyota Celica. It needs it pretty bad. I've never really had them apart before, so this will be a learning experience for everybody. So I might do the other side first, just to make sure that I can show you guys how to do it easier, I guess, or maybe a way that I learned. So anyway, we'll get started on this and go from there. I'm gonna start off by taking off the wheels. Obviously, easiest way to get to the caliper there. Okay, so there we've got, wow, the old nasty rotor. Boy, you should see, I wish you could see the dust and the rust that's coming off of this thing. We're going to start by taking it off and then get the caliper off and put the new brakes on, the new rotor on. I'll show you guys everything that I did there. And these are quite a bit different than your traditional calipers and your brake rotor setup. So I'll start by getting that off, and we will go from there and see what happens. All right, so on these, there's a bolt here, which is a 17 millimeter. And then there's one on the bottom side as well, which is obviously also a 17 millimeter. Whenever you take those two out, they're little short bolts, and you'll see here in a second. Take those two out, and then this whole assembly, so this and your caliper, will all come off in one big piece. So that's all it is. Granted, there are two of them, and these have been in there for, was it 30, 40 years? Something like that, however long, 77. It's only got 46,000 miles on it or something like that. So obviously the brakes have probably never been changed. So we'll get the bottom one out now. So there it is. Yikes. It's in pretty rough shape. So what I did on the other side, and it was pretty easy to, figure out and, and work this caliper a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and take this hose off, and whenever I get it off, oh yeah, this has the sensor for the brakes as well. So I don't know if you can see that there, but it's got the sensor for the brakes. I did get the pads. I made sure I got the pads that have the sensor. It just slides in and out is all it does that I figured. I just pulled it out of the other side, and this one obviously just came right out once I started working it a little bit. So that worked out pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and take this line off and then be able to get this caliper out and be able to work it a little bit better. All it is a 17 millimeter as well. Be careful not to break your line. Gosh, and it is super tight. Oh, this is going to be a good time. Oh, goodness sakes. A lot of people, I know they're going to say, "Oh man, you're gonna lose all your brake fluid." Well, it says very old brake fluid in it. So we're just going to put a cup up underneath of it for what little bit's left, and just go ahead and let it drain out and be done. So we got the caliper off right here, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing taken apart. So on these, it has this these fancy little, I don't know, clamps, I guess you could say. They hold it in place. So you'll see what I'm talking about whenever I go to take it off. But there's two of them on there. There's one here and there's one here. And they got these little pins right here that that you pull out. There's one on each side. Pull those two out, and this slides out. And so in turn, these little clamps here, or clips, I guess you need to say, clips, gosh dang it. They hold that caliper up, and which makes these hold that in there tight. So I'll hammer those out. I'll pull these pins out. I'll hammer those out, and then the caliper will come right out. See, there's one. On this, I'm going to have to tap it back just the shade. And myself, I'm going to go ahead and take both pins out just to be safe, so I know I don't lose them. So that way I got control over it. I'll go ahead and take these back two out. Uh-oh, got to do the same thing. Two pins. So then, I'll just knock these out. I don't know what happened to my, here it is. That's it. Just that little guy right there. Slides right in there. And this, if I can get it to come out. There we go. Goes on the back side as well. So just like that. So I'll get this back one knocked out. You may not need to have to take both of them out, but I am, just so that I can work it a little bit, I guess. Clean these up real good, kind of lube everything up real nice. And now, comes right out. So, we got the caliper out. I'm going to take an old brake shoe, or I'm sorry, brake pad I have here. I'm going to put that on there. And use this clamp and push that piston in. When I do that, a bunch of the fluid is going to come out, so I'm going to do it over the trash can. Get her good and tight, make sure nothing else comes out. And now, I'll take this off. And the piston is all the way in now. I do believe I found out why that sensor come out. That's where the sensor goes. It's quite rotten, I'd say. Yikes. Okay, so this is the new one. See how good that sensor mounting, whatever you want to call it, is? That's in way better shape than what the other one is. So, plus everything's a lot thicker, and yeah, I know. Obviously, it needed new brakes. It was in pretty rough shape. So, we're gonna go ahead and put these new pads on, and I can get this old one out. There we go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, these were pretty daggone rotten. It's everything's in really nasty shape, honestly. So we're gonna go ahead and put these new ones on. Oh dear. For some reason, my new pads didn't come with all these fancy clips and stuff that go in here, so I'm not sure why. So we'll just go ahead and slide this in. Yeah. And there. Actually, I want to clean that up a little bit. Get my brake. Okay. Put that in. Just like it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do on this, just kind of help it out a little bit, revitalize it if you may. I'm going to spray some of this rust corrosion protection stuff in there and kind of help everything out moving wise. I know it sounds crazy to be spraying any sort of lube around your brakes, but when everything is as rusty and nasty as what this thing is, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So, and plus I'm not putting a lot on there. I'm just getting it around stuff that moves a lot. So then we will slide this right down inside there and see how that moves up and down. Judging how that moves up and down, that's whenever you put your slides in there, and that's what holds it in place. So I'll go ahead and get ready to put these in there. Spray some lube on them, kind of help them out a little bit. Oh yeah, it was much easier. Slide this back in there. Same thing on that. Spray some lube on there. And oops. Make sure that sucker stays on there. Ow. Okay, so we got both our clamps in there. We're going to put our little pins back in. They just pop right in there. Put that over a little bit. Okay. In. And the last one. Oops. Okay, so there we've got our oh no. Oh, the caliper, or the, one of my brake shoes fell out. There we go. All right, so there we got our caliper put back together now on the mounting bracket and everything. We'll go put it back on the car. I forgot that I need to put a new rotor on here as well. So we're going to take this rotor off. Now, here again, it's not like a traditional rotor where you can just slide the rotor off once you have your bracket and everything off and out of the way. Listen, here we got to unbolt it from the back side off this hub. So in order to do that, we got to take this dust cap off. And while we have it off, when we get it off, we're going to go ahead and examine all the bearings and the races and make sure it's got enough lubrication inside to be safe. Now, as I said before, we're just getting everything put together for now to where we can cruise it down the road for a little bit. Make sure that our brakes work and everything's doing exactly what it needs to do. Well, we are going to eventually replace all the bearings and races and stuff like that in here. So, got a little cotter pin right here, and I'm sure it's bent somewhere to hold it in place. Yeah, there it is. So bend that down out of the way and be able to pull this pin right out. Okay, we got that. Set it off to the side. Probably put it on our box here to keep everything clean. Then you have a little cap, keeps your nut in place. And I don't think I have a wrench right now this size, so I'm just using these big channel locks to take this nut off. There we go. Everything seems pretty lubricated still, so that's good. I'm glad that whenever I put it off, it didn't spit a bunch of dust at me. And we'll wiggle that around, push it back. Here's our bearing. Check it out a little bit. And then this will pop right off. So, as you can see, on the back side here, maybe, there's 4 little bolts on the back side. There's a 14 millimeter. We got to hammer those off, and we'll be able to take this rotor right off. You should keep your washers on there when you take those off. Okay. And then we'll tap around on it a little bit here. And it hasn't moved at all yet. Oh boy. Okay. Huh. Well, that might have something to do with it. Seems to be rusted in there pretty good, believe it or not. Ah, bummer. Okay. Well, let's see. So, looking on this back side, might be able to see it right there. That is, it's rusted around there really well. So I'm saying it's frozen up in there. So, we're gonna beat around on it a little bit, see if I can get it to come off. Okay, so another tech tip, if you may. So if you can get a hammer, such as this one, and you beat down inside in between your hub and your rotor, and obviously we're not keeping this rotor, you can get down inside there and it almost acts as a wedge, and it comes right out. Just like that. So, we've got the old one out, and, or I'm sorry, the old rotor off. Now we're going to put the new one on. Oh, shouldn't have put those onto my box now. Oh, man. Okay. All right, so there we got our new one. That's our old one. This is our new one. Big difference there, right? Okay, so now we'll go ahead and, oops, we'll slide that on there. Okay, and then spin it around a little bit. There we go. Get our holes lined up inside there, and we'll put our bolts in. So ours is off just a shade. There it goes. Always make sure that you can thread them in by hand pretty good first before you start putting your impact on there. We don't cross thread it and you got some major issues later on down the road. So we'll get those put on there like that. Get our impact in 14 millimeter. Uh-oh. There we go. A little bit rusty. I have to replace those whenever I go to redo this. Now, if you were redoing this, and your car is not going through a full restoration, such as this one, and you're just replacing your brakes or whatever, if it was me, I would clean all this garbage off, all this old grease and everything off, just to get it out, and put some new grease in. Because some of this it's pretty thin yet. So, like I said, we're going to take all this off. We're going to end up sandblasting it. We're going to take these off, clean them up real nice. Probably replace the coils. We've got some, or not suspension, but steering issues that need to be tidied up yet. So, yeah, so if you're just replacing the brakes and the rotors and that's it, go ahead and clean all this off, man. I mean, it takes an extra 5 minutes to save your bearings and everything. Clean your bearings up, clean your spindle off real good, and make sure that, everything's clean and ready to go. So we'll go ahead and slide this on. And make sure you don't bang it around and everything. And we'll slide it on, hold it in place. We'll put our bearing in. Just like that. And then we'll go ahead and put our nut on. Oh. Probably have my knee in the way. What I like to do is get it hand tight, spin it around a little bit, tighten it up a little bit more, and then we'll go just a little bit tighter. Make sure it still spins freely. It does. And then we will slide our cap over. Make sure I get it on the right way. There we go. Cap's on. And then we'll slide our cotter pin in. Oh, if the sucker will get down in there. Might have to clamp that a little bit. See how it's crooked? Well, better focus. Anyway, it's crooked. It won't go down in there. So I'm going to put it in the vise real quick and straighten it up a little bit, and then it'll drop right in. Okay. Got it ready to go in now. Dropped right in. Take our unit nose pliers and bend one end of it up. That way it can't come out. And then we'll take our dust cap. We'll slide it on there a little bit. Take a rubber mallet. Don't take a normal route mallet because it'll beat the crap out of your dust cap. There we go. We've successfully replaced the rotor on this. Now, we're going to go ahead and put our caliper back on. Make sure you thread this on first. Get it started. Not real sure why that keeps doing that. Gosh dang it. Okay. Oh, make sure you tighten it up. Okay. Make sure your pads are in the right spot. There we go. And we'll go ahead and slide her on. Rubber mallet, give it a little persuasion if you may. Now, we've got to make sure that our bolt holes are lined up. Hold on. There we go. Wow. Hey, if you got an easier way to put these on, feel free to let me know. Put it in the comments, do whatever you gotta do, and let me know, because that's a doozy to get in there. Let me find the bottom. Here it is. All right. Now, we'll get our 17 on there. Tighten it down real good. Some people put Loctite on these bolts. Here again, I don't know if it's for personal preference or if that's what you're actually supposed to do. Some people put Loctite on. I didn't end up taking these right back off, so I'm not going to put Loctite on. I'm going to be driving thousands of miles and all that stuff right off the get-go here, so. But some people do say to put that on here just for vibration and whatnot. Okay. That's it. We got our brand new brake pads on. Got a brand new rotor on. Both sides is done. All right, guys, so that was the video for replacing brake rotors and brake pads on our 77 Celica here. So, yeah, I'm not going to bleed them. I'm going to do the back yet. I got wheel cylinders put on back there. I have new drums and new shoes to put on back there yet. So we're going to do another video about how to bleed brakes and stuff like that. Brian will be in that one especially to be able to pump up the brakes. And I'll kind of show him around and you guys around on the proper way to do it. So, yeah, so stay tuned. We're going to do a video about the rear brakes here soon. and we'll go from there. And like I said, if you guys got any kind of pointers whatsoever, feel free to chime in, because I don't know it all, and I know I don't know it all. And this is the first time I've ever put brakes on a 77 Celica. So, yeah. So if you don't mind, man, you guys tell your friends, whatever like that. Hopefully our videos are pretty good for you guys. And we'll see you on the next video. So, all right, man. Thanks, guys.